is that Harry and Meghan are also experiencing a popularity drop.
What happens when a royal fairy tale crashes headfirst into reality and the crowd turns silent? Because that's exactly what hit Prince Harry. And this time, Australia didn't hold back. The same place that once adored him suddenly felt cold, distant, almost unrecognizable. And the harshest part, the rejection didn't just sting. It was aimed straight at Meghan Markle. How did everything flip so fast? This was supposed to be a triumphant return, a feel-good comeback to one of their biggest fan bases.
It was a hug from Harry that brought a woman to tears. India Brown had been waiting patiently since 4 a.m.
Just to see them will be amazing, but if I'm lucky enough to hug Prince Harry, would just be phenomenal.
Instead, it turned into something far more brutal, a public reality check playing out in real time. No roaring crowds, no overwhelming cheers, just an uncomfortable shift no one could ignore. And now, Harry is reportedly heading home carrying the weight of it all, with insiders saying the tension hit harder because of how Meghan was received. But what exactly went wrong? Rewind to 2018, and the energy couldn't have been more different.
A pregnant Meghan and her husband Prince Harry kicked off their royal duties down under on Tuesday by cuddling a koala at an Australian zoo. The couple officially opened a new science institute in Sydney, mixing with locals during the first day of their packed trip. It's their first engagement since Kensington Palace announced they were expecting a baby in the spring.
Back then, Harry and Meghan didn't just arrive in Australia. They exploded onto the scene like global superstars. Sydney went wild. Thousands of fans lined the streets for hours just to catch a 2-second glimpse of them. Cameras flashing, people cheering, pure excitement in the air. It was their golden moment, the kind of reception most royals spend a lifetime chasing.
Buckingham Palace has confirmed that the Duke and Duchess of Sussex will not be returning as working members of the royal family. Prince Harry and Meghan stepped down from royal duties last year and moved to the United States. The couple, who are expecting their second child, have been stripped of their patronages and honorary titles, which will be returned to the Queen and distributed elsewhere in the royal family.
And then came the moment that made it even bigger. Right there, during that tour, they revealed Meghan's pregnancy. And suddenly, Australia wasn't just a stop on the map. It was part of their story. People felt included, honored, connected. The energy, electric. Everywhere they went, the love was undeniable. And it seemed like Australia had fully claimed them as their favorite royal duo. So how does something that powerful completely fall apart?
Well, the Sussexes soap opera rolled into town this week, 8 years after Harry and Meghan last came down under in a trip they called the catalyst for leaving the royal family.
Because after stepping away from royal duties, everything started to shift. The interviews raised eyebrows. The Hollywood deals sparked debate. The Netflix documentaries pulled back the curtain in ways many didn't expect. And the constant media attention, it slowly changed the narrative. Year after year, distance grew. Not just physically, but emotionally too. While Harry and Meghan built their new life in California, far from royal traditions, something else was happening quietly in the background. Public perception was evolving. So when they finally returned to Australia this year, it wasn't the same stage, and they weren't the same figures. No longer working royals, no official duties, no royal backing, just 2 high-profile celebrities arriving for paid appearances. The royal magic that once surrounded them? Gone. And that's when the real question hit hard. Did Australia move on from Harry and Meghan, or did something much deeper break along the way?
An American and British celebrity couple that's heading our way, and some wags have started up this petition. They're saying, we don't want you here, but the petition demands that no taxpayer funding or official support is provided for Harry and Meghan's private visit to Australia.
Before they even touched down, the backlash had already begun. What kind of visit sparks outrage before it even starts? Because in Australia, people weren't waiting with excitement. They were already pushing back hard. And the reason? Many believed this wasn't a heartfelt return. It was a business move.
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have criticised an online petition ahead of their trip to Australia next month. More than 35,000 people have signed the form, saying security and logistics for the pair's tour should not be taxpayer funded.
Almost overnight, frustration turned into action. A petition exploded across change.org, pulling in over 40,000 signatures at shocking speed. The message couldn't have been clearer. Not a single dollar of taxpayer money should go toward what many saw as a private, profit-driven trip. That kind of reaction, it doesn't happen without tension building underneath.
In Kilda Road, we're just opposite the shrine, and this is the crowd that has gathered just in the past sort of half an hour or so. They arrived about 3:35. A lot of them were here.
So why were so many people suddenly against them? The pressure hit fast, and Meghan's team scrambled to respond. Their spokesperson rushed to shut it down, insisting the visit was completely private, no government ties, no public funding. But here's the thing, once doubt sets in, it spreads. And instead of calming the situation, it only made people ask an even bigger question. What was the real reason for this trip?
Know why they're coming.
I think it's probably really nice for them to not have to do all the royal stuff. But yeah, I guess that also means that they're not as sort of relevant, I guess, here.
Then came the moment of truth, their arrival. And instantly, the contrast was impossible to ignore. Gone were the massive crowds, the screaming fans, the electric buzz that once followed them everywhere. No packed streets, no overwhelmingistic ball, just smaller, controlled gatherings filled mostly with people already nearby. It felt different, noticeably different. Meghan kept her public smile locked in place, but something had clearly shifted. Observers picked up on it right away. The energy wasn't warm, it wasn't explosive. It was careful, almost distant. This wasn't the grand welcome she once owned. It felt quieter, more reserved, like the excitement had been replaced with hesitation.
Can I be honest and tell you I really don't think about them at all?
Are you aware that Harry and Meghan are in Australia?
I had no idea they were coming to Australia.
Yes, I did read about it.
I wasn't aware that they were coming out to Australia at all. I haven't seen anything on the news.
Honestly, no. I did not really know they came last time as well.
I don't know why they...
And the media? They didn't soften the blow. Some outlets went as far as calling it a cosplay royal tour, a phrase that spread like wildfire. The idea was sharp and hard to ignore. It looked like a royal visit on the surface, but without the real status, without the same public connection. That label stuck, and suddenly everything about the trip started to feel staged.
Meghan Markle's $3,000 a head women's retreat in Sydney has failed to sell out.
Out on the streets, reactions were all over the place. Not excitement, confusion. People weren't rushing in, they were questioning. Why were they here? What was this visit really about? And perhaps the most uncomfortable question of all, why did Meghan Markle's presence feel so out of place this time? Because the biggest shift wasn't just in the crowds, it was in how people saw them. So, did the Sussex brand lose its power, or did something even bigger turn the public away?
I think it's going to come down to the commercial aspect. You said about brand Sussex. There is talk that she's going to be bringing, as ever, her brand to Australia. I think that we will know, really, whether she's won over those Aussies that maybe didn't have a strong opinion either way before when that gets launched, because it will be in the form of cold, hard cash.
And just when it seemed like things couldn't get more awkward, they did. Because Meghan's headline event, the highly promoted Best Life Retreat, was supposed to be the big moment of this entire trip. The centerpiece, the proof that her influence still had power. But what actually happened inside that room told a very different story. The event was designed to host around 300 people, a solid, confident number, but reports quickly started circulating that tickets weren't selling out. And when the doors finally opened, the room didn't look full, not even close. Empty spaces, scattered seating, the kind of visual that raises immediate questions. Where was the demand? Where was the excitement?
Rockstar royals who captivated the nation back in 2018. But as Prince Harry and Meghan prepare to return here to Australia, the reception is looking, well, a little bit more lukewarm.
The price of new tickets for Harry's big Melbourne appearance have been slashed by 50% only a week before they head down under.
And then came the criticism. Attendees and observers began whispering the same thing. Was this really about wellness, or was it all about Meghan herself? Because instead of delivering something deeply valuable, many felt the focus leaned heavily on her personal image. That kind of perception, it spreads fast, and it sticks. But here's where things get even more interesting. There were growing rumors that this trip wasn't just a visit, it was a test, a way to quietly introduce her personal brand into the Australian market. Some believed she was testing the waters, watching closely to see if people would buy into her future products and ventures. If that's true, then the low turnout sends a message that's hard to ignore. And that's when confusion really took over, because this trip was introduced as a wellness-focused speaking engagement. Yet suddenly, Meghan's schedule included visits to hospitals and shelters, On the surface, it looked charitable, but to some observers, it felt out of sync, almost staged. Like moments designed for cameras rather than connection. That perception only added fuel to the skepticism. What was this trip really about? A comeback? A brand launch? A publicity push? Because the more it unfolded, the less clear it became. Meanwhile, Prince Harry wasn't exactly having a smooth ride either. He stepped in as the keynote speaker for a major mental health event, something that should have drawn strong support. But instead, reports revealed ticket sales were struggling so badly that prices had to be slashed, from around $1,300 down to nearly half at $650. Even then, seats remained empty. At this point, the pattern was impossible to ignore. If both of their major events couldn't draw a crowd, what did that say about their real influence now?
And in the middle of all this, Prince Harry found himself in a position no one expected. How does someone go from being one of the most loved figures in the royal family to standing in front of half-filled rooms and quiet crowds? That shift didn't happen overnight, but here in Australia, it became impossible to ignore. Once upon a time, Harry was the monarchy's biggest draw. Crowds showed up just to see him, to feel that connection. But now, the energy has changed. Smaller audiences, softer reactions, and a growing sense that something isn't clicking anymore. And the hardest part? He seems caught in between two worlds, not fully royal, but not fully accepted as a celebrity either. You could see it, that tension, that discomfort, standing beside Meghan's vision of independence while facing a reality that isn't matching the hype. It's like watching two different paths collide in real time. And Australia made that contrast crystal clear. This wasn't the same love story people once celebrated so loudly. What was meant to rebuild their image ended up doing the opposite. Instead of reigniting excitement, it raised bigger, more uncomfortable questions about their future, their influence, and whether the public connection they once had is slipping away for good. So now it comes down to this. Who's really responsible for this shift? Is it Meghan's direction, Harry's choices, or something deeper that changed how people see them both? Drop your thoughts below, because this story isn't just about a failed trip. It's about what happens when public support starts to fade.